All right, stop playing with the keyboard. We're live now. All right, we're glad y'all all logged in. Whoever's logged in, we got Miss Lisa here supporting, Mark back on the sound, and Amber on the slides. We got a skeleton crew here tonight just because we want to make sure that we're being as safe as possible with recent events, some COVID spikes going around in Baldwin County, and we don't want to be irresponsible with the way that we're leading the ministry. I know that we're kind of getting rolling with City Packs, and we plan to resume City Packs next week. We got some improvements we've already decided to make to get that sound better, so it can be a better experience. So I'll go ahead and get excited about inviting your friends to your City Packs in our 4 locations we got going right now. Tonight we want to do something a little different. I thought instead of just canceling on Sunday night, because Jeff and I don't like to do that, we wanted to do something for y'all, and we're calling it Behind. Wait, I haven't said anything profound yet.
Oh, sorry. That felt profound.
That did a bit. Behind the scenes with Jeff and Josh, which is a scary thought in and of itself. If we were to tell you exactly the conversations that happen, much less the context with which we wrote some of our songs, I'm not super confident that we'd still have jobs. So we're going to filter it a little bit and make sure it's appropriate for live stream content on our church's website. But with that being said, I think it's kind of cool how Jeff and I have got to where we are today. I think that, I'd love to sit here and think, man, we've grown so much, we've learned so much. It kind of feels like this circle, like we get it figured out, and then we look around and we're like, weren't we just here? Like you're trying to get yourself out of the woods, and then you pass that same tree you passed 4 hours ago, thinking that you're walking in a straight line. And sometimes faith feels like that way. And I think a lot of times it is circular. But I think that it's important for y'all to know and maybe have tonight get to experience and hear a little bit about why we believe what we believe, what's led us to this point, why we lead the way that we lead. If you're home watching with your families, awesome. I'm super proud of you. Y'all are officially my favorites. Those of you that aren't watching, you're missing out. But those of you that are watching, maybe you logged in alone and you're sitting watching on your laptop. All that's cool, but hang with us. It's going to be kind of a shorter service tonight. But what it's going to look like is we're just going to walk you through some questions. We're going to give you a chance to answer them yourselves. If you're with a family, I want y'all to take a minute. We'll answer the questions, we'll pose them, we'll answer them, we'll model it for you, and then we're going to kind of give you some time for you to answer it as a family. If you're watching alone, that's totally fine too. I love that. If I was in your shoes, I would probably definitely be watching alone right now, which is cool. That doesn't mean you're lame. That just means that nobody is as cool enough for you, and so you're feeling like you're on your coolness island. And in that scenario, feel free to get out a journal, grab you a notebook, or pull out your phone with your notes section. We're going to ask the questions. I want you to write those down. I want you to think about these questions, and kind of go on us with this journey tonight as we talk to you about where we've been and where we want to go, and think about it yourself. If you're sitting alone, go ahead and maybe text your answer to me or Jeff. We can engage with you through text while we're waiting on other people to answer, but there will be little pauses in there. If you're watching this later, yeah. I have a booger. Which way, left nostril? Right nostril?
Yeah, I think you got it.
Did I get it? I get it? Yeah. All right. Engage with us. I know it's a problem. When you get older, part of the journey is nose hairs. You got nose hair problems, right? Yeah.
Brianna gets so
yeah,
good.
if you get those little and they sell these nose hair trimmers, they're this little circular thing, and it sounds like a little chainsaw. It's like
it tickles.
It does tickle, and then you got to sneeze, and then I wonder the nose hairs don't fall out. I wonder if they get caught in my brain, and I'm wondering, yeah, it's a problem. So get excited about being old like me and Jeff. All
You
right.
have a problem with getting old?
So we want to start off the night, and we're going to talk about something. We've been doing something really cool on Wednesday nights with some of our friend group, and we've been calling it church. And that's kind of where we started the idea, and we're thinking about our home group and City Pack model is what we've been doing on Wednesday night. And last week, we all got together. We've been kind of rotating around houses on Wednesday nights. We're watching the live stream, and we're doing different things. But the question last week was, what was your best church experience, and what was your worst church experience? I think that when we're talking about the idea of what church is, understanding the context of what we think church is or how we've experienced church is really, really important in the way that we perceive church. You get it? So our experiences develop our perception, right? So if we look at a dog as a kid, maybe we were a kid one day and we were walking down the road and a dog came up and it bit us and attacked us. That experience is going to allow us to or compel us to perceive that dogs are dangerous, right? So you take that same thing, you go out to the beach. There's
Dogs are
that was dogs are dangerous.
I got you back.
This is awesome. Or if you go out to the beach and you don't wear sunscreen and you get really burnt, that experience is going to give you the perception that not wearing sunscreen is bad, which is a good perception, but sometimes they're not accurate. Did you just go low? Like, no.
No.
Oh, my God.
This is why we
This
can't
has
have
already
nice
started.
things.
Yeah, this is why. Y'all don't need behind the scenes. Okay, this is normal, by the way. So our first question is this. All right, Jeff, I'm going to kick it to you so
Okay.
that your idle hands are the devil's playground over there, or the angel's playground. What was your best and your worst church experiences?
So I answered one thing the other night, but I think I'm going to change it all. So I think for me, my best one was the sanctuary incident. And I say incident because it scared the crap out of me. Where I was
Holy
in,
Ghost.
yeah, I was in the sanctuary by myself at night. It was dark, and I was practicing a song. And I didn't really know what worship was. I was just practicing because I was trying to be cool. And anyways, I was playing From the Inside Out. You know, 1,000 times I fell till you must remain. And I got to the bridge, the big part. The everlasting, your light will shine. And I felt this presence. And I thought someone was there with me, so I immediately stopped, froze, snuck off the stage, turned off the sound system, and went home. And the reason that was my best church experience, because after a while, I figured out through conversation that it was the Holy Spirit. And it was like the first time that I'd felt it in a church setting, I guess. And it scared the crap out of me. But it was like knowing that it was there, I guess, was good. So that was my best, because then it like intrigued me to figure out what it was. And I don't know. I guess my worst church experience would be something along the lines of,
That Pentecostal church when they did like the race car thing.
yeah, that was scary. So I chased this girl to church, to a church that they chase each other. Little Jeff that didn't grow up in church. I didn't know what Pentecostal churches were. I didn't know. I just thought all churches were the same. Like you sang some
She
songs.
was pretty.
Yeah, not anymore. So anyways, we're sitting there, and like they started playing music, and like the people started like running around the sanctuary, which like now, like knowing things, it would be like, that'd be kind of cool. But like back then, I was scared because like I was afraid my mom was gonna get on to me because they were running. Like, because if I would have ran in church, I would have got in trouble. And it's like, I'm not doing it, Mama. So at one point, like I was the only one standing in the pew by myself, and they're all just running, like doing figure eights. And then one person ran by and grabbed my wrist to run with them, and I yanked back. I was like, nope.
Mama knows.
Yeah. And then they all gathered at the front. They were doing, I guess, an altar call or something. They were all praying and stuff and speaking in tongues and everything. And I was literally still standing by myself in the pew. That was scary. That was scarier than the Holy Ghost right there. I didn't know what to expect. But, yeah,
That's pretty good.
I didn't go back.
Yeah, no, well, that happens. Bad church. I'll start with my worst one too. It was mine was kind of simple. I was a lot of why I'm in youth ministry now is that I kind of started figuring out what this faith thing was. I didn't really have a lot of training in it. We didn't go a lot outside of like age 7 when I was with my grandparents at the Methodist Church, and I was like, oh, this Jesus guy's cool and people are loving. And I went to a youth group at Flint River Baptist Church. If anybody from Flint River Baptist Church is watching, wow, this is not going to happen. I'm not in any way saying anything about your ministry, but at the time, we were an equal opportunity Methodist Livestream, and we love everyone.
That's a good one. You get one for that one.
But I was 16 and I could drive myself. And I remember thinking, like, I didn't even know youth group was a thing, right? 16 years old, didn't know youth group was a thing. And I had some people, they're like, hey, you know, you were baptized. Why don't you come hang out with our youth? I was like, oh, that's cool. Where do they hang out with it? At the church. Be like, okay, that's cool. On Sunday night, be like, oh, that's awesome. It's a different time. I show up on a Sunday night, and nobody talked to me. There was like 60 kids there in the sanctuary, and the only person that came talk to me was somebody like Miss Lisa, who's the coolest. And I sat But as a 16-year-old, like you don't want. And Lisa gets that too. She's like, she knows there's a problem if she's the only one that comes talks to 16-year-old Josh. I didn't like smell or anything. Is that awesome? But yeah, I remember thinking like, okay, I guess my faith is just for me, and I didn't really engage with anybody or join or become part of church until like way after college. And I'd say my best church experience, God, it's so hard to pin down one. But I would say, again, this is outside of the church. We were in Iraq. I thought of this one. I didn't mention this Wednesday night either. Sorry, Frank. But it was we were in Iraq, and we'd been there for like 6 months, and we were, wherever, eating MREs and, burning our own poop and all that kind of stuff. We didn't have a lot of amenities, so much less church. Sundays weren't a thing. They were just another day to do patrols and missions. And then there was this priest came out, and he was an Episcopal priest, and he offered us communion on Easter Sunday. I didn't even know it was Easter. Like, I wasn't even tracking over what day it was, but he came out, and he had this chalice that was passed down. His father and his grandfather were all chaplains, and it was used in World War II. And we all took communion out of this chalice that had been used since World War II, and a bunch of dudes and soldiers, and he just read some liturgy. We took communion, and it was so powerful. Like, helicopters going overhead, firefights are happening, but there was just this immense peace that happened. We weren't in a building. We were actually in the middle of a war zone, but I'd say that was one of the most profound moments of connecting to God. So faith is a journey, all right? Whatever you look at it, it's a journey. It's meant to be. There's no one little thing where you're like, okay, God, I love you. I'm in. You don't get this like overnight flip and change and you figured it all out. You're always going to have questions, right? I wish we could. I know. Yeah. Lisa did. I know. I know. I didn't. I wish I was as cool as you. I wish I could be in here and interact with Lisa too. She's the best. But for most of us, it's a journey. Like you have that moment, and then you're constantly growing and moving. So here's the question, and I want to pose it to y'all first, and then Jeff and I are going to come back and answer it. But here's the question for you: is what was your struggle in committing to faith? What was your biggest struggle in committing to faith? So you understand, you see a place like a church, you come to youth group, maybe you come to Sunday morning church, or maybe you come to the Bridge, and you feel something special, and you feel this draw to open yourself up to belief. What was the biggest barrier that prevented you from taking that step and committing to faith? Focus on our veils here, doubt, fear, shame. If you're alone, go ahead and text us the answer. If you're with your families, y'all just take five minutes or so and go ahead and answer those questions. If we come back here in a minute and you're still talking, just pause the live stream and pick it up when y'all get done talking. All right.
What was the question?
Jeff's piano's not muted. Sorry about that, y'all. The question is, all right. Again, this is behind the scenes. This is unfiltered, y'all. So if you're expecting something like, the question is, what was your struggle with committing to faith? What was your struggle with committing to faith? Fear, doubt, shame, or kind of your triggers here? What was the biggest struggle you had committing to faith? I got a couple answers here already. We've got anger. That's a good one. Yourself. All right, nice work. No, I can't turn the sound on to hear our conversations. Frank says he's not going to answer. All right, cool. Those are some good ones, y'all. We got logic and reason. Ooh, deep thoughts. But yeah, what was the thing that blocked you, or what was your struggle with committing to faith? Kind of that block, that thing that prevented you from taking that step. A couple more minutes, and then Jeff and I are gonna answer for you.
I'll tell you to get on YouTube. Yeah.
Your mic's not muted. All right, come on back. If you're still answering the questions, that's fine. If you're with your family, go ahead and pause the live stream. You can just push play and we'll pick up. You just won't be watching us live. But if you didn't get time and you want to kind of stay with us live, just write that question down and go back tonight when it's over and think about that. Like, what was the thing that blocked? Because the thing that prevented you from committing to faith is going to be the thing that continues to resurface. Again, this is a cyclical thing, meaning it goes in a circle. And so the thing that held you up in the beginning is going to be the thing that holds you back as you continue to grow in Christ until you resolve it, until you have an experience with it. All right, Jeff. So what was your struggle with committing to faith?
I just didn't want to. I didn't really care about it, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
I didn't. Am I on? Yeah. Sorry, Mark. I didn't really care. I had too many questions, and then I was afraid, like, if I did, I would have to, like, not be me. I guess that was, like, my biggest, like, one of my biggest holdups. I had a lot of doubts, too. Doubt, fear, and shame. So I guess the questions on top of, like, I would have to change. I would have to, like, start following these sets of rules that, like, were, like, very structured. I would watch my back more and, like, don't do this. Yeah.
I don't really
It
feel
just
like
seemed
that you
dumb.
did that, though.
Huh? No.
Yeah. No, I didn't
Or I
work
should
out.
have.
I hadn't even really thought about my answer to this one, which is good. What was my struggle with committing to faith? Honestly, like I've told you all about that, I didn't think I was good enough. So I was thinking, why did God want me? And why do I want to commit to something where, like, I don't have anything to offer? I don't have anything to bring to the table. So, like, even the beginning of my faith journey was all about trying to prove my worth, trying to prove that I was worthy of God's love for me. And so that kind of really prevented me from fully committing. But that leads us into one of the first songs that you
I think
wrote.
that's what pushed me away.
Was that?
Yeah.
Pushing you
that
away.
same sort of thing was just like,
So you got this measuring stick. You got this moralistic kind of, this is what makes a good Christian, and either you can't live up to it or you don't really want to try to live up to it, or you know you're not going to be able to live up to it. You know, and you've got this standard, and we all measure it. I had one of the kids, I'm not going to call you out, but I had a text earlier today about that. As like did something that they felt like that they shouldn't have done. And I'm like, no, like we're humans, we make mistakes. You know, we always think it's black and white. Mm-hmm. It's like good, and you like that transition? We do. We always, we're going to be playing gray. We feel like it's black and white, you know, and it's either like it's good or it's bad, or it's right or it's wrong, or it's Christian or it's not Christian. It's a sin or it's not a sin. And we live in this world to where it's so polarized. and you're always trying to live in the light and avoid the dark. But in all reality, like, we're just kind of this mess of all of it. And I think that's what the basis of Gray is. So we're gonna our first song we're gonna play tonight. Dude, that was such a good transition.
You did good, man.
Thanks, buddy.
That was really good.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Lisa. Yes. All right. So tell us about Gray, buddy.
You just did. No, we wrote Gray.
You wrote Gray.
Did I write
This
Gray?
one's all you, buddy. Yeah.
Okay, so I guess that's where I kind of sat, like in life, and where I was. Not even just like spiritually, just like me. Was I always felt like I was in the middle. I was different. I liked weird songs. Shout out to Gare Bear. I don't know. I just kind of marched to my own drum. So yeah, Gray's kind of talking about like being on the edge of committing to something that you have no idea about, which just makes it, even that much more interesting.
You wrote the song, and really the beginning of our journey of what's going on around us now at the ministry. Journey. At the beginning of the journey, journey. With that uncertainty. I mean, I think when we both first started this, we were just completely uncertain with what we were doing or why we were doing it. I leaned on the science, and Jeff leaned on the music. But
I thought you were going to say the caveman.
Yeah, caveman.
Lean on something.
No, that we evolved a caveman. But it was this idea that when I first heard Jeff play Gray, I was like, yeah, that's it. Like, I'm gray in a world black and white. And I think that's okay. Y'all ready? Let's hear it.
I am gray in a world black and white, living my life on the line. My heart says yes, but my head it says no. Not sure which way to go. You come through. Can't commit even though it feels right. My mind can see the light. You reach out, I pull myself away, trembling, still scared of your grace. You come through. You come through in this life when I'm wrong, when I'm right. Arms wide open, waiting for me. When I'm up, when I'm down, you're still wearing my crown on a cross that was meant for me. You come through. Please come through. Doubts in your heart, took my fear in your arms. You did it for me. Took my thorns in your brow and deserving a crown. You're calling out to me. All my doubts in your heart, took my fear in your arms. You did it for me. Took my thorns in your brow and deserving a crown. You're calling out to me. You come through in this life when I'm wrong, when I'm right. Arms wide open, waiting for me. When I'm up, when I'm down, you're still wearing my crown on a cross that was built by me. You come through. Please come through. You come through. Break down these walls and come through. Rip off these chains and come through. Take up my cross and come through. I'm abandoning me. Jesus, help me believe.
I love that last line. We were talking about the song. We didn't want to resolve it, with this idea that okay, we're struggling with this stuff, but yeah, then it's all good. I think I'm abandoning me. Jesus, help me believe. You're still kind of stuck in that tension, and we're still stuck in that tension of okay, like I found these barriers, and we're gray in a world that's black and white. But I think a lot of it too was even at this time, and I think that's why we connected so much, was we don't really fit the church mold. And still to this day, like we honestly, if you were to ask us, like, do you feel like you belong working at a church? It's like, no, like without question, we don't feel like we should be working at a church. I still feel like that SPR made a mistake, and they should have hired the other guy that came and interviewed before me. I feel like he would have been way more responsible, but we kind of carry that. And there's times in life and in our lives still today where belief isn't this definitive thing, like where you believe and then that's it. You constantly wrestle with that. Wrestle with the belief. It's not something one and done. And we wrestle with it every day. It's like, Jesus, help me believe. And which is strange that we're asking Christ to help us. We're asking the very thing that we're trying to believe in to help us believe in that. Yeah. Lisa's giving me hand signals. Right. I love it. But it's tough. And so I want to take us into this next question before we go into our next song, which is probably y'all's favorite. I think that once you get to that point of accepting and looking at faith, we've been talking about the church as people. Again, Jeff and I still feel we don't really know if we belong in the church. We don't feel like that we necessarily belong with the people. That's why I love the word ragamuffin, and that's why I call you ragamuffins, and we feel like ragamuffins, because it's recognizing that we're never going to fit in, that we're never going to be good enough, and it's only because of God's love for us that we stand and that we exist in that light. And so, but still, it's like there's things that prevent us from engaging. So we got past that hump of beginning to kind of believe that God was maybe doing something in our lives and doing something in the ministry, but we were so isolated. We isolated ourselves from everything and everyone really, and we didn't necessarily have the friend groups that we have now, but there was definitely barriers. So I'm going to go with this one first. We're going to answer the question first, and then we're going to kick it back to you again. But the question is what was one of the toughest barriers to engaging with the church? The toughest barriers to engaging with the church. I think with that one was, I don't know, I didn't really fit into the boxes, right? And I talk about that a lot, is that I don't think that if you look at the different church and the different ways that people that present church on a Sunday morning even, or different church groups, I never felt like I fit in. I didn't fit into what they were looking at. Or honestly, I would walk into a room and I would feel these insurmountable expectations that people put on me. And I was like, I'm out. I'm going to go work with the kids. I'm going to go connect with the kids and do my job, but never connecting myself with the church because I never felt like I fit in to what they wanted me to be, or to maybe the expectations I put on myself.
So what was the exact question again?
It's what was one of the toughest barriers in engaging with church?
I think it's one we still struggle with. It's just trying to be yourself and being honest with yourself and not putting on some kind of mask when you walk in. And it's not saying you come in and be like, hey, I'm addicted to this.
Don't be a turd.
Hey, I punched somebody this morning. Let's praise Jesus. That would be kind of funny, though.
That would be engaging.
But it's just trying to find I think that was the hardest thing for me to really connect and engage, was just feeling okay with being myself. I think that's more. That's more
being okay with being yourself. Yeah,
being okay with your baggage.
Yeah, this is part of it. All right, we'll give you all a couple minutes. We're gonna mute our mics. Jeff might play a little bit of background music. Go ahead and answer those questions. Text me if you want to, or answer them with your family group. All right. So I got a couple good ones in there. Accepting being a child of God is okay, despite where you are from or how you were raised. That's a really good one. That's significant. I got another, didn't fit in and afraid of authenticity. Yeah, I think that's a lot of us. Lack of trust. That's a huge one. It's like, how can you? I don't really trust. I think we struggle with that too. Frank, have a good one. All right, lack of authenticity from past experiences. Yeah, that's really good. I love that. So I think that we all come in, and I don't want you to think. I think Jeff and I are pretty transparent with, I guess, our problems and our baggage, if you will. I think we own that. We think it's a huge part of why we are the way we are. But that's also welcomed. And I think that read Jeff's live stream chat. I just did, buddy. Sorry. They're a little behind. That's funny. But I think that we can struggle with those barriers of engaging with church and engaging with people, but understanding that we all carry those same things. So you might work into a room, or I might come up to Jeff and think, man, I can't worship the way he does. And I'm looking at where my failings.
Keep talking, brother.
Lean on me. So I think that at this point where we really embrace the ragamuffin thing, we wrote this song called Imperfectly Perfect. And I love this song so much just because it really speaks to what we believe and how we've led the ministry. And we're all imperfectly perfect. There's no one that comes into this place that's perfect. And if anyone does, and they're lying to themselves and you. But embracing your imperfections and understanding that embracing those imperfections in each other, in our friendships, in our relationships, is the beautiful place where God's presence is seen and felt and experienced. So, all right, Imperfectly Perfect.
I wanna love what they tell me to fear, losing control of life. Don't wanna be who they tell me to be, leave myself behind. Oh, wait, something got me. Okay, so that one said, don't wanna be who they, losing control of life, don't wanna be who they tell. Oh, where's freaking Gray? Oh, I exited. What was that last line in Gray? I'm abandoning me.
Abandoning me, Jesus, help me believe.
And it's like, I want to love what they tell me to feel. Losing control. I don't want to be who they tell me to be and leave myself behind. But we're it's just funny. All right, ironic. Don't want to be who they tell me to be, leave myself behind. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Through the darkness that smothers me with the light of your mystery. I want to know life in every breath, every moment so precious. Whoa, 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 my life perfectly perfect, with faith in every step. My heart is in your hands. Your grace evolving within me. My soul is wild and free, 'cause your love is all I need. It's all I need. Break through the darkness that smothers me in the light of your mystery. I want to know life in every breath, every moment so precious. Whoa, 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 my life. imperfectly perfect, with faith in every step. My heart is in your hands. Your grace evolving within me. My soul is wild and free, 'cause your love is all I need. It's all I need.
When you break it down to something that simple, like, your love's all I need. Like, period.
Your love is chasing after me. I'm running from belief with everything I see. Your love finds me in this place with scars upon my face. I finally see your grace. Your love is chasing after me. I'm running from belief, from everything I see. Your love, it finds me in this place with scars upon my face, and I want to feel your grace. But my life imperfectly perfect, with faith in every step. My heart is in your hands. Your grace evolving within me. My soul is wild and free, and your love is all I need. It's all I need.
There's like this resolution that, like, my soul is wild and free, and it's supposed to be that way, and your love's all I need. Everything else, every barrier, every wall they've tried to put around us, everything that we felt like we tried to be, we let that go and recognize the beauty of being imperfectly perfect. And I think that was a big turning point in us as leaders and in our ministry, was when we stopped trying to be what they wanted us to be, and leave ourselves behind, because that's what we were afraid was going to happen. And I think we've done that pretty successfully. But also, you're going into the fray. The wildness and freedom doesn't mean that it's without danger. I'm going to go back to that bridge. Amber, can you throw that up on the screen? The bridge part of that last song, Imperfectly Perfect. Your love is chasing after me. Your love is chasing after me. Running from belief, from everything I see. There it is. Your love, it finds me in this place with scars upon my face. I finally see your grace. I think there's a beauty about that, is that we both felt, I don't think that we feel like we did anything. We didn't, like, really hunker down and, like, focus on our quiet time. We didn't, like, make these, like, deep and sustaining commitments to finding God. I think throughout trying to pursue what God's doing in your lives, we felt God's love chasing after us. As we were running from belief, we saw things and we experienced things still in the church today, in the global church that are just disturbing. And we're running from belief, but God's love is chasing after us. And I love that image. Is that no matter if the things that we see cause us not to believe, God's love's still chasing after us and loves our imperfections and perfects us in them. And God's love finds us in the place where we recognize that our scars and our brokenness are the most beautiful part of the things that he's attracted to the most in us, because it's the most authentic piece about who we are. All right, so we're going to go to the next question, and then I got a couple songs left, and we're going to wrap it up for tonight. But this next song is kind of prompted by this idea of we really kind of got into the worship nights, and we remember, like, standing up here and big moments in worship nights, and we were craving those. And y'all don't get to see from our perspective or from the perspective of the band, but to see y'all out there on the grass or engaging and just, it's hard to explain that moment of surrender, of you feeling and experiencing God's love for you. Some of y'all have been experiencing that in city packs, and that's amazing. But there's nothing like that moment. All right, Jeff, so what was the biggest moment or the biggest turning point for you in our ministry so far? The moment where things shifted.
They've shifted?
What did the moment you were wrecked the most? I'll use our language.
Freaking Wild Week, man. That first Wild Week, I think that was the biggest one. Because I was kind of like on the edge of just stepping down from youth and being like, Josh is here. He's got it. And then, it'll be fun. And then, so he asked Brianna if I could go on Wild Week.
I did ask Brianna. Thank you, Bri, for letting him go.
And it was the first one. And I think for me, it was like, what was different for me is because I've always felt like connected to nature in a sense. Like I could look at a tree and be like, you have purpose, you know? But that was the first time I think I'd connected the dots of like spirituality being connected, and it made sense. It's like, oh, so that's what I was feeling. Okay, that makes sense. And then to see the kids just like have so much fun, like doing what we did growing up, just playing in the woods. You know, whatever neighborhood you lived in, there was woods somewhere. You would just run around. It was like, I don't know, it was just cool. But for me, that was a turning point. It's like, crap, I can't step down now.
Yeah, so for those of y'all that don't know, which is none of you, I don't know if I've ever talked about this, is that when I got here, I felt Jeff was ready to move on. He'd been, overworked and underpaid, as he still is. But I felt like I could relieve that burden from him a little bit, and I gave him an out. I remember it was within the first couple months, and I said, even we stopped doing music on Wednesday nights, and I said, hey man, I don't have any expectations for you to stay with us. I know that you've been working really hard, and that I don't want you to feel obligated to continue with youth ministry if that's not something that you want to do. But really, I was just Jedi mind tricking him because me telling him that he could step down made him rethink about stepping down. I know.
No, I don't want to.
Yeah, I don't want to step down. I don't want to do it because you want me to do it. But I knew Jeff, and I got to know him, and I was like, if I can get him, if I can get him in the woods. If I can get him in the woods.
That's where it started, Amber.
He's no turning back. Oh, Amber just left. I'm sorry. No more words for these next two songs.
I'll give you a ride home.
All right, thanks, buddy. But I knew if I could get him in the woods and help him see that the church is a lot bigger than he realized. But I think the biggest thing for me was probably the baptism night. We'd done a ton of worship nights, and I guess I felt so much pressure. I didn't like doing the baptism. I didn't want y'all to feel the pressure to get baptized. I wanted it to be completely a thing between you and God. I didn't want to get in the middle of it, and I felt so powerless and so inadequate of being the person that used words to try to explain what baptism meant. And we worked it out throughout the month, and I still to that night I didn't know who was going to get baptized, but I also recognized the beautiful symbol that exists within baptism, and it is that choice. It's different than just being wrecked on a Sunday night. It's being wrecked and then engaging and responding to that expression of God's love for you and saying, I'm in, and I want to be renewed. And I remember kid after kid that came, and I knew I was going to get baptized first. And I looked and I saw the faces, and it was just person after person that came through it just shook me to my core. And I felt for the first time here really the purpose that God might have. And that was just a few short weeks after I decided to stay and not take the job in Huntsville. So I was probably one of the biggest parts of the journeys, and was just seeing that, hey, God can use me. If I get out of my own way or trust who he's called me to be, that things can happen. And it doesn't mean that I insert myself into the equation. It just means that, we get to be the hands and feet of God. And I don't want to be the voice of God, but sometimes that's what has to happen or what situation calls for. And it was just a beautiful moment. Every single person that came up, yeah, let's stop it. Yeah. But that takes us into y'all. I want y'all to sit in your groups and talk about that. What was the most profound moment, the moment you were wrecked, the moment that you felt the deepest connection in church? For some of you, it was this night when we played with everything for the first time. And I remember looking out. It was the worship night in September. And that night, I put it all at the feet of God. I said, God, tonight you need to let me know, am I staying or am I going? And we closed with this song, and your hands were up in the air, and it was so still in this auditorium. And indescribable if you weren't here. But every single one of you in unison and in unity were connected with the presence of God in this wordless expression of praise with just a simple melody. I wish we could have stayed in that silence forever. Jeff and I both had the same reaction. We covered our faces. I mean, it was holy ground. So what was that moment for you? What was the moment that you felt where maybe things shifted, or maybe things have shifted for you? The moment where you had a profound experience that changed your heart towards God's perception of you, or your perception of God's love. That's a good one, Chloe. All right, let's go ahead and shift into this next song. Yeah. We haven't played this very much. That's a good one too, Mark. Illuminating grace. It's this idea of the moment that you recognize, those moments that are the most powerful are the moments of surrender, where you just bring it all to the altar of Christ's love for you and let it go. And we wanted to write a song that reflected that. We wanted to try to write a song that reflected that moment of what we experienced for you. And I think this song comes pretty close.
Yeah. I wrote this stupid piano riff that I can't even freaking play, and I play it like once every 8 months, so it's like, all right. I look to the sky with this broken heart of mine, a mess I bring to you, and your light all around as the stars echo the sound that sing this song to you, and they sing my soul to you, as you found me in this place, and I surrender, illuminating grace, and I surrender, oh yeah. That's stupid. And who I was before, I didn't pick it, he picked it. It's scattered on the floor, and I was like, crap, this brokenness for you. And I tear down the divide as heaven and earth collide, in my heart it beats for you. In my soul it beats for you. You found me in this place, this place, and I surrender. Illuminating grace, and I surrender. Oh yeah. You surrender your whole life. With open arms you sacrifice. With final breath you breathe heaven anew. So I'll surrender my whole life, my brokenness, my sacrifice. The shattered heart, I lay it here for you. You surrender your whole life. With open arms you sacrifice. With final breath you breathe heaven anew. And I'll surrender all my life, my brokenness, my sacrifice. The shattered heart, I lay it here for you. 'Cause you found me in this place, and I surrender. Illuminating grace, and I surrender. On shattered glass I pray, as I surrender. Illuminating grace, and I surrender. Oh yeah. I hate that stupid song.
I think that there's always a weird line in there. We talk about shallow graves in the next song, but that last line at the when we changed the chorus to "On shattered glass I pray," it might seem weird, but it was one of those where Jeff was like, "All right, I guess we can put it in there."
Cool.
But I love the imagery of that, and that when we pray in that place where we're fully surrendered with our brokenness as a sacrifice, like it hurts. And prayer rarely is this thing that it's like you're nice and you're in your comfortable little chair and you got your nice little tea next to you and you got the perfect lighting and it's like, okay, Jesus, as the birds are singing outside and a nice little breeze. Yeah. Prayer is like this thing that's an effort. It's like wrestling with God's call in your life and trying to search for the spirit of God's presence in your life. It's tough. And prayer is for me, it feels like, man, when I'm surrendering this brokenness, I'm surrendering my wounds, I'm surrendering all these things that I'm carrying, and I'm coming to God with it. I don't feel like I'm on a kneeling rail or on these nice little cushions. I feel like I'm praying on shattered glass, and it's the glass of all the things that I thought I was supposed to be. And I love that imagery. So I don't want you to overlook that. All right, so this last one, and we're gonna blow through it, is what is the hope ahead? So I think that we've been through a lot. We've gone through a lot of things as a ministry team. I mean, we've lost small group leaders. We've added small group leaders. We've lost adult leaders. We're adding adult leaders. What's our hope for the future? Sorry. Is that like marimbas?
Yeah. Got a harpsichord.
My hope is Jeff sorts himself out. You're right, Dane. Dane told us to sort ourselves out.
What's our hope for the future?
Yeah, so what's I mean, we've been through a lot, we've experienced a lot, we've worked through a lot, but it doesn't stop. I mean, this journey isn't something that you don't get to the destination ever. There's just more ahead, and I think that hope is what guides us. So what's your hope?
I think my hope is that I won't stop recognizing and pursuing. Like, I don't want to feel content in where I am. And it's not like where I am, like how many kids I got or a house, but like what I feel. Like, I don't want to take that for granted. So like those big worship nights where it hit deep, like in the heart. I don't want to ever have to go through that and then not feel anything, because that's happened, and that's scary scrap for me.
Yeah.
And it's like, if I stop feeling it, it's not fun anymore. you know. But that's a different
No,
story.
no, that's good. I mean, it's. I guess my hope's the same. As a guest, there's a song called Spirit Lead that's on the Jeff's playlist for potential songs or whatever, and it really hit me, and I think that's what mine is that I'm not chasing feelings, Spirit Lead. I think for a while, I felt like I was chasing feelings. I was chasing the feelings of acceptance, or I was chasing the feelings of worthiness, or I was chasing feelings of belonging, and they were all things that I was trying to find in church, or I was trying to find as a leader, or trying to find in relationships, or trying to find, from y'all. Not really y'all, but, my kids in Huntsville. I was looking for things, feelings that were supposed to fill something that was missing in me. And through this journey, I've realized that it's not about chasing the feelings. It's about allowing the Spirit to lead me and to lead us wherever that is. And I guess my hope is that, we've got the wisdom and the boldness and the patience to be able to pursue where the Spirit's going to lead us. And that's all of you. That's whether you're back there working sound, or you're at home, or you've never been to the youth group before in your life, and you just stumbled across this live stream. I think there's a big difference in chasing feelings of things that you think that you want, and really allowing the Spirit to lead you into that place of becoming that God's calling you into. And they're different things. And so that's my hope, is that the Spirit will lead us, and we're not chained to what we think we should do, and we're not chained to what we've done in the past, but we're constantly looking for new things. And that's what this last song's about. We're going to end with this, and then bid you adieu, and we'll see you back in city groups next week. But we wrote this song, New Earth. It was probably I love this song. I think we collaborated on this longer than anything else. Jeff wrote some lyrics up on the chalkboard. He came in one day in the office, and he erased everything, and he wrote this chorus for New Earth, and then we wrestled with the lyrics longer than probably any others, and it was right before this, and what's that new thing? And it came from Revelation 21, where the old world's dying and a new earth is born, and we believe that new earth is around us, and it's emerging in our midst if we can allow the Spirit to lead us into that reality, and not be content or not be complacent in comfort, but really genuinely pursue it. So, all right, New Earth.
The old world is dying, a new earth is born. No more death, no more sorrow, your kingdom has come. You wipe every tear, break every chain, and darkness will tremble at your name. Our roadways are dying, we're hiding no more. No more life in the shadows, your light is our home. You wipe every tear, change every chain, and darkness will tremble at your name. You wipe every tear, break every chain, and darkness will tremble at your name, at your name. 'Cause your love makes all things new, and your love is breaking through heaven and hearts as one. New life, new earth, new song. And your love makes all things new, and your love is breaking through heaven and hearts as one. New life, new earth, new song. You wipe every tear, break every chain, and darkness will tremble at your name. You wipe every tear, break every chain, and darkness will tremble at your name, at your name. 'Cause your love makes all things new. Your love is breaking through heaven and hearts as one. New life, new earth, new song. Your love makes all things new. Your love is breaking through heaven and hearts as one. New life, new earth, new song. We are healed and forgiven. Your love, worthy and fearless. You are making new heavens in us. We're yours forever, and we are singing a new song of your love that says it is finished and it's done. Heaven has found us. We're in yours forever, and we are healed and forgiven in your love, worthy and fearless. You are making new heavens in us. We're yours forever, and we are singing a new song of your love that says it is finished and it's done. Heaven has found us. We're in yours forever. Yours forever. 'Cause your love makes all things new. Your love is breaking through heaven and hearts as one. New life, new earth, new song.
All right, journey's not over. Go find your new life, new earth, and your new song. Love you, kiddos. See y'all next week.